Hello everyone, this is Denise of Something Beautiful Handcrafts, and this is like second go at the videos. I really need to start making blooper reels so you can see where I'm going with this. Okay, so today I am making doll shoes. Show you these guys right here. Okay, I've been making these plain Jane shoes for the longest time. I'm calling them plain Jane shoes, but they're not the plain Jane pattern. I actually took a shoe where I only had one of, took it apart, traced the pattern for it. Okay, here we go. Trying to get rid of that. Hang on there. Okay, so it's just a little black Mary Jane and hand sewn on the hair. It's got an insole on it. You know, it's spring. I wanted something new, so I decided I'd give a whirl with some type of sandals. I have these vinyl wallpaper scraps. They're really handy for bookbinding, and I figured I'd give it a try for a stiffer shoe. And actually, it was pretty cool, but it is really stiff. And I also have some faux leather. And for life of me, I'm not seeing the shoe in front of me. But I know I did not put it back on. Okay, so hang on a moment. It's always that one shoe you want. Okay, so I have been hand tracing these, which doesn't really work well for me. I've never been the best hand cutter. My handwriting's always been terrible. My cutting skills have always been terrible. And so X-Acto knife and box cutter really don't work for me. The first ones I cut were pretty bad, and I did try to get some sandpaper to sand them down smoothly. It took away some of the edges, but not enough for me to like that. And also, I went from 60, did I? I went from 80 to 400, and still none of it got rid of that nep that you kind of get when you sand the foam. And I just don't like that. I don't think a lot of people would notice, but I would. I don't like it. Of course, you can go around the shoe with the trim, but I don't really like the trim. And one of the main purposes for me to using the 6mm straight was so that I wouldn't have to put a trim. Because otherwise, a lot of times people are using 3mm or 2mm, and they stack it 3 times. And so, oh, here's one that's not trimmed yet. Stack it 3 times and you kind of get that look. And so they trim it to make it look finished. And I just don't always want the trim. Sometimes I just wanted that look. So hand cutting was not going to work for me. I decided that I really needed a machine to cut these to make them look smooth. So I went ahead and bought the pattern. I got this one. This is the Jordan sandal, and it is by Apple Totes. And they're really going to get a good representation of what it should look like. You should probably go to the Apple Totes website or on Etsy. And it's a really cute sandal. Personally, it's open-toed here. It's a tall sandal, and it's supposed to have an elastic band that holds it. I didn't have any elastic, and I couldn't find any I liked at Walmart. So I just tied a string around it, and it looks a little hokey here. But when you see it on a doll, it's actually really cute, even with the string tied around it. But there was an SVG file, and I used that one to cut the soles. And so I'm going to be using that one to cut my sandal soles for some time. Until I find another one with a different shape that I like, or what have you. Now you can buy soles. When I put in the group that I was looking for a way to make these soles smoother, I had lots and lots of people tell me I can buy soles. Well, I know that. If you know anything about me, I do like a ton of research before I get out of bed in the morning to make sure I'm using the best toothpaste. And so I looked at all this stuff prior to deciding on making shoes. I know you can buy soles. Here's the thing about buying soles, is that not one single sole shape works for every shoe. So if I get into buying a pre-made sole from a specific place and I use a different shoe pattern from somewhere else, at some point I'm going to need to cut another sole. So I just need to perfect the art of me cutting soles, or get a brother scan and cut so I can just scan it and not worry if it comes on an SVG. Okay, so at any rate, I started out with this one for a sandal, and it's just basic and it's cute. It's just a flip-flop. The problem with it is it flops off. And if I'm taking dolls for photo shoots or moving them around, I'm going to have these flopping off all the time. So I really didn't want that. The next one I did was this one. And this is a basic pattern I got out of the McCall patterns. It was in with the dress patterns. And it's just really simple. You have 2 strips. You fold the 2 strips, and they have these loops right here. You put another loop in the back right here, and you tie it. Bam. Strappy, gladiator-like, really cute. So this is going to be one of my go-tos. And then I've got these guys, which is that cross shape that you see a lot. I got a pair of Skechers like that. And I guess these 2 are considered gladiator type ones. And you can have 1, 2, 3 straps going up the ankles, however you feel, whatever you think is cute. I was just keeping it basic, and I just put 1 strap across, little cute bead decoration. And these are from the 2mm stacked. Now, I just like the look just like this. And I'm going to do my best to clean off as much glue as possible. Maybe I'll put a little paint or something around there to seal that and close that so it looks nice and just clean and glossy. I really do not want to put a trim around there. So as I had a really hard time finding the 1/4 inch 6mm like ribbon anywhere. Everybody's got 9mm ribbon, and I just can't really find it like I used to all the time. Okay, this is its mate, I think. Were those the same ones? Yes. Okay, so that's pretty basic right there. Then there was this little one right here, and this one I did actually trim just because it was orange, and I wanted it to be orange so it wouldn't look black and orange like Halloweenish. And I saw this somewhere on Pinterest where they used the elastic ties as bands to keep the shoe on. I put this on after I'd already closed this up. So, but it holds on just fine without it. And this is the little pom-pom ribbon that I have. I have it in yellow, I have it in orange. It's just the cutest stuff, and I never could figure out what to do with it because it's not really my style, but it makes great shoes. So I'll make a couple pair of these in yellow to go with the spring collection. And this time when I put the tag on the back, I remember to connect those 2. So I went to the dollar store and got these guys. They're like really thick looking. They're not as thin as that, but I still think they're going to be cute. And it'll just be kind of a thick boho look. Okay, what I did for this one, I think it made it easier for me, is I prepped all these pieces before trying to put them on the foot. I actually sewed them last time. This time I'm going to go ahead and try gluing them. The thing about gluing them is I don't have a fine point on this glue gun, and this is just a cheap glue gun. At one point they had them at the dollar store. I've had these things for years. I don't even think you can get a fine point on them. I don't think the point is changeable. So I'm not going to invest in a new glue gun. Basically, this is just a little hobby, and it makes no money. So I'm not really going to pour any resources into this at the moment. It's kind of the same thing I say about everything, is that I use what I have for the most part. And someone's saying something about, well, I should get a Cricut Maker. Like, who's paying for that? I'm going to get a $350 toy so I can make a $3 shoe. No, not really. And I know someone out there is going to go, well, you can do so much more with the Cricut Maker. I mean, I could do so much more with my Cricut Air, except I haven't. I've had that thing for I don't know how long. And no, there's really not a lot for me to do with it. I don't have anybody to make this stuff for, so it's not a wise investment. You know, if you've got kids and sports teams and all kind of crazy church events, or if you're going to be selling stuff, then it's an investment for you. But for me, it's not really an investment. Okay, we take these guys off. These ones are just like these ones over here. And I'm using poor Kanani. No, I'm not concerned Kanani's going to get messed up. I have more than one Kanani anyway. Okay, so I want to slide these in here. And of course, I have to be, a little obsessive about this. I want to find my half point. This is why the other one I actually sewed them down. I want to decide where I want this to be on the foot, how much overhang I'm going to have. If I have one right here, I might not have room for 3. I cut for 3, but with the thickness of this string, I might not have room for 3. Okay, that looks about right for me, right? So I'm going to put a little dot. Actually, what I'm going to do is take a straight pin and I'm going to put a pin through this one. That way it'll, see, it'll stay in place while I glue this. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why I did it with a, needle and thread, because this glue is just yucky. And without a fine tip, you're just getting glue places you don't want to get it. And I cannot stand the feel of things on my fingers. Oh no, I don't like clay. I don't like sand. So that glue on my fingers is like terrible. And it's easier to turn and get this straight with the needle and thread. I can't really do this on camera. Not to mention this thing is hot. Okay, that's not too bad. I got a little glue someplace I don't want it. And also, I got to be honest, I tend to find that hot glue will move on you when temperatures change. Let me see. Okay, so here we go. So this, it could get like hot in the summer, and this glue will move on you. Or cold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this. That looks about right. So we're going to glue this down. I don't really think you can see this. That's one of the pitfalls of doing things on video, is that there's a trade-off. Sometimes if I want you to see it, that means I can't. And I can see it and you can't, because I have to put my hands in the view of the camera. Okay, that looks about right. Ooh, and it's like it's all stuck to my fingers with this hot glue. I need to get some of that. There's an Aleene's Fast tacky glue. I need to get some of that my next trip out. Just try to do it what I have. Okay, let's see. All right, that's basically how that looks. Okay, I'm going to put the back on. The back is real easy. And I'm just dabbing it with glue, sticking it in the middle. Okay, I can go ahead and take this off. You can see it. And I'm going to put the bottom sole on. I kind of like to do this in stages because I feel that the hot glue is going to get cool before I can actually get it on. And also, I'm so obsessed about placing it right. And I really like to get that pushed down really well where the ribbon is at to make the contact tight. It's not quite as important if I am not going, if I'm going to put the trim around. I'm not going to put the trim around. It's actually really important that I close that gap as best as possible. Okay, so now I've got all this hot glue all over the place. It's just terrible. And I'm going to peel it off. But in the meantime, let me show you what's going to happen next. Now, this could take a trim around it. If I was putting a trim around it, or maybe I should say when I put a trim around it, I'm pulling this is the tie here. I'm making this about 14 inches. Because so far I like it to go and wrap around. And I'm just putting a little dab of hot glue on the edges of it. I could melt it. That'd be cool too, but I'm not near an open flame right now. So I'm just going to dot that. Okay, so somewhere in my life is the, I wonder if this would work. Okay, we need this to be about a 1/4 inch, roughly. Okay, so I would find something and measure this off as a 1/4 inch. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay, so that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, and it needs to be about 8 inches. So we got a 1/4 inch. We got 8 inches. That would bring me to about right here. Let me cut this off. I think this is a 1/4 inch. The Cricut also cuts this. I just happened to not cut it today because it does not cut the foam happily. And so part of it is a pressure issue I've been having with that thing. Part of it is that it's just foam, and that seems to be a problem. And a part of it is I need to get a new mat or restick my mat. Usually I would use Aleene's, tack it over and over to restick my mat, but they didn't have any of that at the store, so I didn't get any. Which is kind of like the story of this whole thing. They don't have what I want, so I improvise. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, so here's what I would do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue this on back here. this big glob of glue that I didn't want. And bring it around. Okay, till I get to the end. Daubing it all the way. Pressing it down. I want to say also too that normally I would use my paper trimmer for this, but since this was just a little scrap laying around and I didn't pre-cut them, this is how this is working. And bam, glue that piece down. Okay. Now I'm spending a little time cleaning that extra hot glue off. Oh, it's snowing outside. There were some predictions that it was going to snow. There is so much hot glue on my fingers. Oh my goodness. I was like, I just cannot do this with my left hand. You know what? You really have to try it yourself so that you can see what kind of length that you need for your tie. If you're the one tying this, this all depends on your dexterity, right? So just keep that in mind. 14 inches may not be enough for you. And pretty much this is how it looks. Oh, my goodness. At the risk of this being like a really long video, I'm going to do round number 2. And I'm going to fill in some steps that I didn't tell you about with the first one. So first of all, I prepped these guys with the tacky glue. I put 2 of them together. And I probably don't need this much tacky glue, but really what I do is make sure it gets to the edge so that these edges are sealed down. Even though there's a high probability I'm going to wind up putting the trim around, I still just want them to be clean because that is just the way I am. Okay, so these 2 are drying. Bam, put those off to the side. And this glue one, I keep thinking I already used that. Let's put that with here because those 2 means there's 2 already together. Put them off to the side. I want to do something that's not black because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to let's see, what do I want to do? I've got blue ribbon. What else is over there? Blue ribbon, green ribbon, gold ribbon, yellow ribbon. I don't really want gold shoes. I think my dolls want gold shoes, but I don't want gold shoes. White. So my video is getting long and my coffee is getting cold, but I just want to show you this real quick. And I have been looking at these shoes for like the past 6 months. I've been watching a ton of videos, whichever ones I can find on shoemaking. A lot of them are really old. And so it's kind of hard for me to condense everything that I've learned down to, a 30-minute video. So I'm trying to make this as concise as possible, but I do want you to see this. This might require more than one video. And hopefully, I kind of felt like I stumbled through this one. It was a lot, but the next one will probably be better. Okay, so here's what happened. I got the band. Remember I told you that these ones are thicker than the usual pony bands that you see. I do like these ones though because they don't have the metal. And for my after texture hair, that's bad. I would guess that's bad for any hair. They have those metal things kind of. Sorry. At any rate, it is too long. The pony band one, I wish I had one to compare. I think it is shorter, but if not, I wrapped it around. And so it was just the right length. But this one's too long, so I cut a chunk off of it. And I did that by measuring. And offhand, if you just wanted to know, it's about almost an inch. It's almost a whole inch off. If you went an inch off, it wouldn't be so bad. So then the next thing I did was I put some hot glue onto the band and held these two pieces together. Like the usual obsessive person that I am, I tried to smooth the hot glue around, but I found that just made things worse. So you kind of have to hold that for a bit. And then I took a strip, and this is 4 inches strip. And I took a little teeny strip here that's maybe 1.5 inches. And the first time I did it, I held these together and wrapped it around. So this time oops, that reminds me. I gotta take my band apart. This time I wrapped it around. I need to put this through here before I glue my band. Aha, see, last time I did it the other way around and I just forgot to fix that. Okay, so let's put more glue on it. Now, then I slipped it through this back. Gonna make sure I turn it right. Okay. And this is where I really think it worked out well. I put glue in the back, right here, big wad of glue, and turned it to the piece that I glued together and pushed these guys down. Gluing that closed. Okay, so I'm probably moving faster, but I'm actually not expecting this to be a tutorial. So if you find that you want a tutorial, just put it down in the comments and I'll actually take this a lot slower. Okay, so I have that like that, which was easier than the first way I did it. Okay, so I need to put Kanani's foot on it. Kanani non. And sorry about bumping the camera. I'm gonna put her foot through it. And what I want to do is turn this, and I want to put this on so that, wait, is this the right foot? No, that's the wrong foot. It really matters because these are what they call lasted. If you didn't know that, American Girl doll shoes are lasted. They are left and right shoes, which I didn't know prior to American Girl. And so I was pleasantly surprised that they're lasted. Okay, so I'm going to pull this till it gives me a little resistance. I made a mark on the back of the foot because I wanted to put these about in the same spot. Let me see. So this is about here. This one is about here. Okay, that is really cool. Like I said, this stuff is hot. Like really hot. It is hot glue after all. Okay, so that is enough for me to take the shoe off. Okay, now this for this one, it just felt really important. Like this says that it's 2 millimeter. That's what it says. But the quality of foam between this one I got from Joann's or Michael's, this one I got from Walmart, is this one is just stiffer. And so because I put tension on this shoe with this band, I glued a piece of cardboard. I originally cut the pieces of cardboard because I could not find white foam anywhere. There's just like none in stock. And I wanted to have a white surface across the top. I didn't want to use my good white cardstock that I use for cards. So I just cut some random white lining. You know, the kind of stuff that's inside tights and pantyhose and stuff like that, underwear. I keep those pieces of cardboard because they're nice and stiff. They're like cereal box stiff. Okay, so there we go. That stiffens it right there. That stiffens it all by itself, but of course that's not how I want it to look. I have like trad. It's this stuff that it's another wallpaper, and it looks like trad. It's really cool. And so I'm going to start putting some trad on the bottom of the shoes just to have that look. And I suspect it might help a little bit posing. Okay, so get this guy on there. I'm putting my thumb right here. I want to make sure that these guys line up the way they're supposed to. Okay, so let me pull this. I just like the way that looks even without the trim. It reminds me of my Skechers. This part right here needs to come down. I might have to stick some glue inside there. Super glue or something. I got some extra glue here, so that's always no fun. Okay, and so I might wind up putting some beads here. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I like how it turned out. And then I'm just going to cut the piece of trim and put it around there. And pretty much that is it for now. I don't want the video to be too long. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.